Harold Perkins in his game on Saturday, that will go down as one of the best games individually I have ever seen at LSU. I think Tyrann Mathieu, Oregon game. I think Tyrann Mathieu in a couple of other
Arkansas
instances.
game.
The Georgia SEC championship game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there are moments where individual performance, Leonard Fournette, his sophomore season versus Auburn, there are, times where you look out there and you see one player just dominating the opponent. And Saturday is something that I feel like I don't feel like I've ever seen one player be so disruptive. I mean, he was unblockable. There was nothing that Arkansas could do. I mean, they would bring over the running back and try to chip him, and he would duck below both of them and get to Hornsby and was coming to wreck the game. I mean, it was his stat line. He's the National Defensive Player of the Week. I imagine he's going to be the SEC Defensive Player of the Week for the second consecutive week in a row after his performance versus Alabama last weekend and his performance versus Arkansas on Saturday. But, I mean, he had 8 tackles, 4 for loss, 4 quarterback sacks, 2 forced fumbles, and a pass breakup and a quarterback hurry. I mean, that is like some Lawrence Taylor stuff. That's some names or just some players that you think of that, I mean, think about the amount of players that have come through here. I mean, and the high-end elite players that we have had a chance to see play at LSU up close for the last 15 years. I mean, the stuff he is doing in his freshman season, and we've seen dominant freshmen. We've seen people come in, immediately have impacts. I cannot think of it, and you will never find, ever, you will not find anyone that is a bigger Tyrann Mathieu fan than me. I mean, look right behind me. And Tyrann Mathieu, to me, is in a level and sits in a category of LSU football that it's tough for anybody to break through. And Perkins, 10 games in, 9 games in, I feel like he's like right there with him. Just because of the impact that he has on every game. Every single game, he has a monster impact. And like we said, it's now to a point where offensive coordinators, coaches, game plans are now seeking him out and trying to take him out of the game. So what he is doing is, I mean, he's fighting now through scheme. I mean, he's not surprising anyone. Nobody is out there wondering who number 40 is. People are now putting effort and energy behind their game plans on trying to stop this guy, take him out of the play, double him, chip him, try to isolate him, things that you can get him out, and it just doesn't work. It's amazing to see how good he is. I mean, there is not a lot that flusters him. There's not a lot that he can't overcome out there. And I know that he still has a ton of more football to gain as far as the knowledge goes. And he also has a lot more physical changes coming his way. I mean, can you imagine what he's going to look like at like 230 pounds? Being able to run like he can? I mean, he chased down, I mean, what was the book on Hornsby?
Fastest player on the team.
I mean, he's track speed. And some plays early on, you saw it. I mean, like, he turned the corner and he zipped past the sideline. Perkins got him one time, chases him down from the back on a straight line sack and just pulls him to the ground directly behind him. I mean, like we said last week, the most impressive part about Perkins to me is his ability to stay balanced and stay agile and stay fast. I mean, the way he fights through blocks, doesn't get knocked to the ground. Sometimes he gets knocked to the ground, gets up and makes the play. I mean, his instincts, his physical attributes as far as just the balance, the strength, the speed, the the agility, the speed, the toughness, the physical play when he gets to you, he's
sudden.
I mean, he's coming at you, man. I mean, some of those sacks are like he closes in on you, and within 2 steps, the ball is out of the guy's hand. He's a blink of a closing speed guy. I mean, he is if he gets within 3 yards of you, forget it. Forget it. It doesn't matter if you're Bryce Young or if you're Arkansas's backup. You're going to the ground.
You think he wanted any part of that football game after seeing Harold Perkins? And he's like, "Hey, you're up." And he's like, "Well," I mean, he had some impressive passes, but to see him track down Malik Hornsby like that, he's like, "I ain't Malik Hornsby." But they tried to run a similar style offense, and I think there's no better example of what Perk can do for a football team than what you saw in his first sack, where he tracks down Malik Hornsby, forces a fumble, and if he's able to scoop that thing up, gone, coach, he's gone.
Oh, and you know what I also thought was that Baskerville was going to pitch it to him.
Yeah, get him the ball.
Because it was a perfect, he was right there to pitch to him. But yes, I mean, I thought you were going to see him. He almost scooped that thing up with his left hand.
Tried to pick it up one-handed.
I think he did pick it up and got it knocked out by Ojulari coming crashing in.
Jay Ward came on him.
Like kind of crashed into him and knocked it out of his hand. But, I mean, he almost scoops that thing with his left hand and is in the open.
House call.
Wait till he gets in the open field.
Put him in punt return.
Wait till he gets in the open field.
But there's no better example of how he can impact a football game than that play. And then the last play, and with the last sack that didn't feel like a fumble, but it definitely was, where he gets the open hand, it hits off the elbow. Mekhi Wingo, good on him for, I mean, we talk about his motor every single time we come on the show after a Saturday win or after a Saturday game. And for Mekhi Wingo to not give up on the ball, picks up the football, is like, hey, I didn't hear a whistle. But Harold Perkins being able to force those kinds of plays in those times just shows you the repertoire he has, which is, it still feels like you're in like version 1 of Harold Perkins when there's a couple updates to come.